if anybody told you this, but you don't have to stay the same person forever. That was a big that was a big relief when somebody shared that with me. I think a lot of people wrap their identities up into who they are, and that is ultimately who they have to remain. And today's message is going to be short and sweet because I got places to go. I got some World Cup soccer to watch. But you know what? This was a really important message that I thought would resonate with a lot of people, being that I talk with so many of you. And I think it depends maybe on the generation that you come from. I think, because let's be honest, right? I mean, depending on your generation, we all have certain programming narratives that we have adopted and owned. And we all got our own trauma and baggage and bullshit that we have to work through. And it's passed on from previous generations and parents or friends or the environment that you grew up in or didn't grow up in or whatever it may be, right? It's a collection of life discussions and experiences that ultimately, kind of form and shape who we are, who we become or don't become, and ultimately what we accomplish. And, I was really thinking about this. I have been kind of going through a little bit of a transition myself in some ways. I have always been the real estate guy. My whole professional identity is what I will say has been the real estate guy. And, you know, when I was talking with somebody, because I'm really exploring and transitioning, being out of just being the real estate guy. Don't get me wrong, I'm always going to be a real estate investor, but that being my core focus in business, fortunately, I've been able to unlock and, be in a position where I can, while that has been my tree trunk for the last, 16 years, and it's given me so many amazing opportunities. I've been able to grow those roots deep. That core tree trunk of real estate has also given me the opportunity to start exploring some of the branches. And if I continue to, well, let me just share, I guess, where I'm at with this. You know, um, as a real estate investor, you hear and think that if people don't see you exactly as they need to see you, then they're not going to want to do business with you, or they're not going to want to invest with you, or they're not going to take you seriously, or whatever. This is me inserting all my own limiting beliefs, by the way. And over the past few years, I've gotten more, I've expanded my interests into the world of hospitality. As you guys know, about the hotels, right? And that really kind of unlocked and opened up doors outside of just being like, oh, I own hotels and real estate. It was like, no, I love providing experiences for people. I love being in the world of, hospitality and everything that goes on in that world. But no, I can't really become a hospitality guy because I'm a real estate guy, right? I've also gotten very integrated and enjoyed learning and participating in the world of crypto. I have really enjoyed learning and expanding and getting into the world of capital markets and debt. Obviously, I've been investing in crypto, and you guys have heard me talk about that. I've been investing in growing the Amagos Income Fund and expanding my own debt arm and becoming a bank, and offering those passive income investment opportunities to other people. I'm still, obviously developing and investing in real estate. Um, but I've also been working on a really exciting hospitality business that I'll be sharing more about here in the coming months. Um, if you want a little sneak peek, you can go over to amagosx.com, because I've partnered with somebody that's been very long standing in this arena, in this business. Um, but that being said, the message today to whoever needs to hear it is if you want to become somebody different, if you want to branch out and redefine your brand, who you are, what you are, an expert in, or what you are capable of accomplishing. If you're anything like me, you're holding on, and this is really my ego, holding on to the past version and identity of who I think I needed to become or stay in order to remain successful. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce if you are an investor looking to generate consistent passive income, then I've got something for you. I just launched the Amagos Income Fund. It is a private investment debt fund. So instead of relying on long-term appreciation or big exit events like most real estate syndications do, we decided to keep it simple, focused on first position asset-backed lending, just like a bank, meaning your investment is backed by real collateral and structured to produce income from day one. The target return, 10% paid out annually and also paid out monthly. So no guesswork, real passive returns, true mailbox money. And because we're in the debt position, not equity, we're able to prioritize downside protection, maintain shorter durations, and stay in control of the risk, which is most important in environments like this. This is built for investors who want steady cash flow, strong capital preservation, and real asset exposure without the headaches of owning, managing, and waiting years for a payoff. So if this resonates with you, if you want to learn more, I put together a full investor presentation breaking everything down. All you got to do is just text the word income to 844-447-1555. That's income to 844-447-1555. I'll send you everything so you can see if it's a fit for your portfolio. And as I kind of unpack that a little bit, you got to keep doing work on yourself, right? You got to kind of pull the weeds out of the mind garden. And my mind garden was getting a shitload of weeds. We'll just start there. And I had to do some work and obviously get some help in that space to, identify some blind spots. And this individual helped me uncover how I have been so many different versions of myself over the course of my career, and that if I just owned being a wholesaler, I would have never given myself permission to become a house flipper. And if I never became a buy and hold, single family rental portfolio guy and just stayed a house flipper, I would have never actually given myself permission to evolve and become a commercial real estate investor. And if I would have never branched out and evolved into becoming a commercial real estate investor, I would have never bought my first hotel or my second or my third and actually become open to the idea that I could become a hospitality guy. And as I started to expand into other business and investment opportunities, I would have never evolved into the idea that I can be more than just a real estate investor. And so, I've always believed life is short. There's going to be a string. If I go and try and shoot for the stars and live an extraordinary life, that's not gonna be me staying in one vein, owning one identity for my entire life. And when you think about the most successful people, the most impactful people, the people that have, in my terms of a definition, lived the fullest and wealthiest and richest lives, not just financially, but through their impact, through their adventure, through their families, through their, you know, business endeavors, it's usually not the people that stayed in one lane forever. And I've always tossed and, turned over the wisdom that a lot of my mentors have shared with me of like, don't get too scattered. Don't try and do too many things. And I believe that, right? I mean, you do one thing for a long period of time that unlocks permission for you to explore doing more things. And it wasn't until I really mastered doing one thing, which was real estate, that gave me the space and the permission to go and branch out and do other things. Um, but at the same time, if I continue to own the real estate investor identity forever, I wouldn't have given myself permission to expand into some of the areas of business and interests and passions that I find myself in today. And when I get to my deathbed, I don't want to say I was the world's best real estate investor. I want to say, damn, I had a hell of a fucking ride. That was amazing. All of the different things that I tried, all the failures that I had, the graveyard of, investments and opportunities that didn't work out, the person that I became as a result of just living life to the fullest and following my dreams, following my passions, and not staying for somewhere longer than I felt I truly was meant to be there. That's what I want to be able to look back and say. And so I know for many of you who struggle with the permission part of giving yourself the ability to step outside of the comfort zone, the box that you've been playing in, the brand, the identity that you have created. It's hard to kill that, to kill the physical side of, some of these things that you've invested time and money and relationships and so many things into, to think about stepping outside of that and letting some of those things go. That's fucking hard. I've struggled with that myself. And yet, the best thing you can do oftentimes is dig a grave for some of those things and not look back and fully step into the calling that is pulling you. That's how you know it's time, is when you start really feeling pulled to something and you start getting these little God winks and these little breadcrumbs along the trail that are pushing you in that direction. Now, I want to be cautious about this because I think there's a time and a place and a way that is smart and strategic to take some of these calculated risks and to make some of these moves. I don't want to see anybody, do anything rash or drastic that puts them in a really tough or challenging position that they don't need to put themselves in. There's always a way that you can bridge the gap and find ways to transition and to do that intelligently. But at the same time, what I'm getting at is, if you're feeling called or pulled to go and do something right now, to take a risk, to bet on yourself, to step outside of a brand or an identity that has somewhat maybe held you hostage and is shackling you from really leaning into this new part of your journey, this is my little nudge for you right now. And this may not resonate with all of you, but I can guarantee you, because I've ultimately been through many seasons of this, while they are scary and they are challenging and they are stressful, looking back, they were all the right decisions and they led me to where I'm at today, which is right where I need to be. Now, that's not always fun. I'm not always in a season of, happiness, of joy, of abundance. I'm actually coming out of a season of challenges and scarcity and stress. And those were all necessary things that have now birthed a new version of me and where I'm at and where I'm going. Here's the thing about most investors right now. They're consuming a ton of content, but they're not actually more informed. They're reading all the headlines, they're watching the tickers, they're following all the noise that mainstream media wants you to follow. And at the end of the day, you're still not informed on what it actually means for your deals, for your portfolio, or for your next move. So if you're listening to this right now, I don't think that's you. I think that you actually want to understand what's happening, how it impacts your investments, what you should be doing going forward, what you shouldn't be, and not just reading about it. That's why I decided to build the Wealth Intelligence Brief, a newsletter sent to you 3 times a week directly to your inbox, where we cut through the noise. We send you the macro data, the real estate intel, crypto signals, and all the unfiltered takes in 5 minutes or less for free. Eliminate the noise, keep the edge. Sign up by texting the word WIB to 844-447-1555. That's WIB to 844-447-1555. So for those of you who might resonate with this a little bit, give yourself permission to explore what that could really look like. Make sure that you've got the right people around you, that you're feeding your mind and your body and your soul. It requires real discipline to birth new vision, new brand, new identity, and step into it and own it. But if you believe it and you surround yourself with the right people and you set up your environment and you get the right habits and the right disciplines, and you don't need to do anything catastrophic, but if you can get all those things in alignment, all those dominoes lined up. They could be big, they could be small, but if you get those things in alignment and you start taking little tiny baby steps consistently towards bringing that to life, you're going to look up in 6, 12, 18, 24 months and you're going to go, damn, I'm glad I did that. So this is me taking a step into my own next journey. And with all the exciting things that I've got on my plate, so that I'm very, passionate about and committed to, my real estate investment projects, scaling and growing the Amagos Income Fund and getting more investors engaged and putting their money to work with us in partnership with, real estate investments and lending opportunities. And I think what I'm most excited about is the new investment of time and money and repositioning of my brand into the hospitality world, being very bullish, very excited about IRL, in real life, in the world of disconnect, of facades, of fakeness. I think now more than ever, people are craving in real life relationships, in real life experiences that are authentic, that are enlightening, that are energizing, and ultimately unlock real richness that the soul can enjoy and cling on to. And so Amagos X and what we're working on, who we're working with, how we're doing it, is something that I'm so fired up about. And this is me stepping into this new identity outside of just being a real estate investor. I'm an architect of capital and experiential um, ROI. And that's something I'm going to continue to lean in here. So as much as hopefully this was for you, I think this was a little bit just for me too. But as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to be sharing a lot more about this and really be more active on my socials. That's something that over the last few years, I really kind of pulled back a little bit. I've lost listeners. I've lost downloads. I've lost, views and likes. I've lost relationships. I've lost deals. And sometimes it's okay to take a step back and get smaller before you decide to get bigger. I think I needed that. It was a season of my business, of challenges, of my own mental health, of, my family, and just where I was needing to focus my energy and attention. But I also was reflecting on all of the amazing relationships and experiences and investors and opportunities and impact. I mean, how many of you I get to connect with that reach out to me that say a message or an episode or a strategy that helped you in your own world, to get out of my own selfish, way sometimes of here's what I need versus no, this is what you are called to do and to deliver. And not always having to be about you, being in a place of selflessness versus selfishness, stepping back into that, and sharing more on social media, more on the journey, more content, is something that I'm very committed to doing for you guys, for the team, and for myself. So as always, appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate you allowing me to be on this journey with you. If there's something I can do to support you, reach out 844-447-1555. If this resonated with you, shoot me a text. Just say what up. Just say hi. That means the world to me. As always, keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to a million and beyond. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers. Well, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you guys know this show would not be what it is without you, the amazing listener, the support, sharing this out with other people who can gain value from it, taking 60 seconds to leave a review. If you haven't done so already, those things mean the world to us and ultimately help us spread this message out to as many people as we possibly can to help them on their wealth building journey. If you have any particular links or resources that you're trying to track down that were mentioned in this interview, be sure to check out this episode at millionairemindcast.com, where you can find access to all that information. And of course, if you haven't checked out the Wise Investor Vault yet, be sure to head over to wiseinvestorvault.com to check out all the tools, all the resources, the checklists, the spreadsheets, the trackers, all kinds of amazing things that can help you on your wealth building journey at the wiseinvestorvault.com. If you haven't connected with me on social media yet, I'm consistently putting out more content, stories, value to help you on your wealth building journey. And one of the best and most exciting things for me on a weekly basis is getting to connect with you guys. Getting your DMs, hearing what things impacted you, what you need help with is a big way that we continue to drive the content for this show. So if we're not connected and following each other on Instagram, on social media, at Official Matty A, give me a like and a follow. Would love to connect with you there. And of course, don't forget to get on my deals list. If you're an accredited investor, you want to look at more deal flow. You want to see what deals I have access to, what deals I'm raising capital for. This is an exclusive list that I only put out to my accredited investor list, my Millionaire Mindcast family. So text the word deals to 844-447-1555. And with that being said, thank you again so much for supporting the show. Until next week's episode, keep investing in yourself, in your wealth on your march to $1 million and beyond. Cheers.